Hello again, and welcome back for the third and final step of setting up your BlueBird traffic machine system. By now you should have completed steps 1 and 2. Step 1 would have been downloading and installing the plugin and activating it. Step 2 would have been adding the apps that you need and integrating your Twitter account with it. If you haven't completed steps 1 and 2, go back to this tutorial videos for steps 1 and 2. And make sure you complete those steps before proceeding on to this step, because in this step we're going to create a campaign, and you can't create the campaign unless you've completed steps 1 and 2. And of course you have to have a hosted web WordPress blog set up, and that's covered in the first stages of the videos. Okay, so now what we're talking about right now at this point is we're going to go ahead and set up a campaign. Let me explain what the purpose of this campaign is. This campaign is basically going to utilize the apps to be able to respond to specific types of tweets that people are tweeting from your Twitter page, from you. And in order to do that, number one, keep in mind that you need to have a minimum of 5 total apps in order for it to work effectively. The system, Twitter will only allow you to, per day, add 3, just because they have a rate limit on adding the apps. And sometimes you can get away after an hour or 2 of adding an additional one, but you need 5. Just keep in mind 5 apps per campaign. Okay? So for this test video, I've actually created a total of 3 apps in one of my tests, and it's only for the purpose of testing, but just keep in mind that you need a minimum of 2 for it to work. 3 is the max that they're going to allow you to do per day. 5 is the target that you want per campaign, because the system works much better for having 5 apps. So with that being said, you click on the Campaigns tab, okay? And on the Campaigns tab, you're going to see, you'll see a tutorial video in there. And what you're going to notice here is you're going to have, you can filter by your Twitter account. And since I only have one Twitter account in there, this is the one that's going to show. But if you have multiple Twitter accounts integrated into it, which is covered in steps 1 and 2, then you would be able to select which one that you would like to integrate. Now keep in mind, for every campaign that you create, 5 apps. If you create a new campaign to this Twitter account or your Twitter account, you need to have 5 more apps to create another campaign. And that's just a rule to follow going forward. So right now, what you're going to see here is the campaigns tab. And you can watch the video if you like, but that's the whole purpose of this actual video that I'm doing right now, to help you to get up and running as quick as possible. So the first step here is you're going to want to click on Add Campaign. And when you click on the Add Campaign, you're going to notice that there's a feature in there where you can ignore this geo enable at this point. But the cool thing about this system is you can actually do the geo enable, where you can actually, or geo enable geolocation, where you can actually go through. And there's going to be some additional training on how to use this, but you can filter it out by all these different casts. Pretty slick the way this thing works, which is actually phenomenal. So what we want to do here is we want to focus on the queries. But before we do that, we need to create a campaign name. So I'm just going to call this BlueBird Test. I'll just call it BlueBird Test Camp. Just call it BlueBird Test. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on the campaign. And if you have more than or more Twitter accounts, if you have more than one in here, you're going to click on only one, because you only want to have the campaign pointing to only one Twitter account. Never have multiple Twitter accounts selected in a campaign, because it will send the responses out to all of them, and you could potentially run into some issues with Twitter, because they might think that there's a problem, and you could have your accounts potentially temporarily locked. Okay, so that's just a rule of thumb. Make sure that you only select one Twitter account, no matter how many you add in here, at a time. Okay? So then you go ahead and save the campaign. So the campaign is actually caged right now, and we'll get into releasing it in a moment. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the queries section, and this is where you're going to put in the keywords for your searches on Twitter. I'm just going to give you a real quick example of some, and I'm going to explain what each element. This is one of the features that is really cool about this. So, oops, undo. Let me go ahead and go back there and copy this correctly. Copy. Come on, copy. There we go. And we're going to also provide examples. And you can actually look at example queries here that you could use. And then you can filter on the type of tweets that you want to focus on. So in this particular example, I'm just saying that I want to find tweets that are saying make money online. Because let's say I want to look for people that are typing in tweets for this, and this could be people that are actually want to make money online, or these could be people that are online making money. So I want to run a search, and then when I run the search, I can go into this search results, and we have a total of 100 results that were returned. And these are all the people tweeting right now, today, that have different things in here for tweeting about making money. So what I typically like to do is I like to scroll through and get a feel for exactly what these people are, tweeting about. And I typically will sometimes want to network with people that are already tweeting making money. You know what I mean? So this one says, hi, you like to make money online. Would you love to connect with like-minded people like me? Message me for some great stuff. So make money with a few easy. And these are people that are actually targeting making money, how to make money online. Sometimes you have people on there that says, I need to make money, help me make money, and different things like that. I'll show you some other variations of it. So let me just say, I'll just put in help me make money. Help me make money. Okay? So let's go ahead and run a search on that. And see, you'll see some tweets in here of people that say, there's different ones that you can actually filter through and get a feel for what they're asking. See, this one here says, someone help me make money. Okay? And someone help me make money, myself save some money, and different things like that. You'll have to play around with the queries in order to filter through and see what these people are tweeting. And then, based on that criteria, so I'm going to go back to the original one that I wrote. Whoops. And show you how to save it. Because you're going to want to save that query. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run it. You're going to look at the search results and say, okay, well, I want to respond to all these tweets. Okay? So you want to save the query. And then after you save it, it's going to be in your saved section. Okay? So then at that point, now you're going to write your reply. Now I actually have a reply that I've already written. Actually, I'll just go ahead and type it in so I can just give you an idea. You want to pose a question. It's probably not a good idea to put links in there right now at this point. Because what you want to do is you want to pique the person's curiosity about making money from home, and then get them to message you back, because that's what's going to happen. So what I'm going to put in here, it says I'm just typing anything right now, but there's more. You can come up with better phrases. A hard time making money, but then I found this free system. Message me, if I can spell correctly, message me for details. Okay, And there's a cool tool out there. It's called wordcountertools.com. That'll actually give you the total number of characters that you're actually going to. You want to make sure you're within the 140 character limit within the tweet that Twitter has. So actually, I just said it's gonna go out there and said I had a hard time making money, but then I found this free system. Message me for details. Now this is a pretty much a generic tweet, and you can tweak them, and you can play around with them, and you add the message, and then when you go in here it is. So this is saved. Now it's advisable that you come up with several of these different variations and different messages, so because the system will rotate through them over a period of time, and it will send tweets out to these people based on those specific keywords that they're actually tweeting on. And this is something that you have to play around with, and you can look at the tweets and you can come up with, and then kind of like think of it from a perspective that if I got a tweet from someone, how would I respond to it? If it was something that sounded like it was genuinely asking me a question, or is it someone spamming me? So the key is, me personally, I have 10 or more responses, different variations that I came up with and that work quite well. And as a result, people have responded and started following me from these messages. Now, these settings here at the bottom, it is not advisable for you to change them unless you know what you're doing. Leave them. These have been tested time and time again, and these tweets go out effectively and they get the best results. So you do not want to change that from what it is. Okay? So now that gave you an idea of the type of tweets, you can come up with different variations, and you can get suggestions and different variations, but you get the picture. Okay? So we're going to scroll back up here, and now that you have this query created and the results, you want to click on it, because you need to click on that in order for this campaign to run correctly. Then scroll back up to the top, and you're going to save. Anytime you make any changes within your campaign, you want to save it. Okay? So then after you save it, you're going to make sure everything is checked. You're going to scroll down, and you're going to make sure all your keywords and everything are entered correctly. And here's a rule of thumb. You can create multiple queries, but it's advisable to only select one at a time. Do not create multiple queries and select all of them in a campaign, because you can't really test it if you have multiple queries, and you could run the potential of responding to the wrong type of tweet if you put in a whole different targeting category. So that's just a little bit of advice there. So that's pretty much it. The geolocator enables you basically, or location allows you to be able to target a region. And you can see it narrows it down to where if you enable it, you can enable it and you can put in the longitude and latitude of whatever it is. That's really advanced. If you know how to do that, you can go ahead and use this feature. However, you really don't have to use it to get really good results. So this completes the final tutorial about setting up your campaign. It's straightforward. Just make sure for every campaign you have 5 apps total for it to run and be the most effective and work the best. Make sure that you only have one Twitter account checked in here, because as you start adding multiple Twitter accounts to your program or your system or software, you're only going to want to run campaigns only off of one specific Twitter account at a time. So this Twitter account has this campaign associated with it, and when you end up creating another campaign, you'll have another campaign in there which you can assign to your other Twitter account or accounts. And you would do that basically. Well, actually what will happen is when you add new Twitter accounts, the beautiful thing about this software is you'll be able to select a campaign or a Twitter account, and when you select it, it's going to list all the campaigns that are associated with it. So that's a really good feature. So that concludes the third and final video of the BlueBird traffic machine, setting up your campaign. If you have any questions, contact the person that provided you the software or the support group that you're a part of and get those questions answered. Also, if you run into any issues with the software, there's a support tab here for you to go ahead and submit a support ticket, and the support team will respond to you as soon as possible. So enjoy the software, and again, thank you for choosing BlueBird, and enjoy the software and have a great day.